So this is my kitchen where I make all my celebration cakes, and I am going to make a cake with you guys today, and this is just keeping me sane, but hopefully will also be of use to you in the next few weeks when we're all stuck in our houses and we're trying to use up all the ingredients that are in our cupboards and our fridges. That's, you know, trying not to waste anything, and also trying to keep the family fed. So I have two rather sad looking bananas. Well, to be honest, I actually hid these two, so I would have two sad looking bananas, but these are two of my sad looking bananas. And I'm going to make a banana loaf with you this morning because it's gorgeous, just sliced with a bit of bread with butter. And also it is lovely just with a cup of tea, or even with some custard for pudding. Okay, so this is easier. So these are the ingredients that I have, and I'll put the recipe underneath the video whenever I upload it. I'm going to work in ounces because that's the way I do, but I'll put it in grams on the recipe for you, because I just find grams, the ounce is so much easier. I'm an old school girl, so my Victoria sponge is 6663 and all this kind of thing. So I just find it easier. So what I have here is, I have 6 ounces of caster sugar. I have 6 ounces of margarine. I have 8 ounces of self-raising flour. I have 3 eggs. I have a little bit of cinnamon, just about a tablespoon. And I have those two bananas that I had, those two squashy bananas. Now I've just squashed them all up into the bowl, ready to add to my mix. And for my strudel, which I'll show you afterwards, is 4 ounces of plain flour, 2 ounces of margarine, and 1 ounce of brown sugar. And that gives just a lovely crunchy topping to the loaf. So then, just to show you different ways of making your loaf. So if you don't have a loaf tin like this, which some of us have, but not everybody has. So if I start with that one. So I have these loaf liners, which are so easy, and you just pop them straight into the loaf tin, and that works really well. You don't have to grease the tin or anything. But if you don't have that, then what I recommend you do is, if you have a loaf tin, is that you just put a little bit of oil into it. So I'm literally just brushing a little bit of oil around my tin. And then you can line it with some greaseproof paper. Again, not the easiest to do with one hand, but hopefully you get the idea. You would just line it, trim it, and make it a little bit more tidy than I'm doing there, but trim it and line it. Now again, if you don't happen to have any greaseproof paper in your house, obviously we're not running out to get greaseproof paper. Again, just oil your tin, and then just use a little bit of flour, and just sprinkle a little bit of flour along it too, even just along the bottom. So here's I shuffle, but sprinkle a little bit of flour into your pan, and it sort of sticks to the oil, and just give it a good shake round. And that stops your cake sticking to the bottom of your loaf tin, because there's nothing worse making a lovely loaf and then having the whole contents stick to the bottom of it. So I'm just going to now use the loaf liner because I have one. I'm just going to pop it in. So that's one way of making the loaf. This recipe will fill and make you 1 2-pound loaf of banana bread. The recipe, as I go and try and find a cloth to tidy up a mess, because my HE teacher always told me, tidy as you go, Lynn, tidy as you go. So I'm a very, very tidy as you go kind of girl in the kitchen. Other things that you can use, obviously you could make little muffins, or cupcakes if you want to. Banana muffins, gorgeous for breakfast. Even throw a few nice pumpkin seeds that you might have in the cupboard in with them, or a few sultanas, and you can just fill your mixture into these muffin cases. The mixture should make at least 12 of these, if not a few more. So that's another option for you. If you have, for instance, maybe a round tin, again, just oil the round tin, plenty of oil around the edges so it doesn't stick, and line it with a little bit of greaseproof paper at the bottom as well, and that'll stop it sticking to the bottom. And if you don't have any baking tins and you still want to try a little bit of making this mixture, why not just have, if you have a Pyrex dish, something like this, and again, just oil it. And just oil it around the edges. If you can and have it, line it with some greaseproof paper. That will allow you to take the loaf out of the dish and be able to slice it and stuff. But you know what? You don't even have to do that. Just make it in that dish and slice it in it, or even and serve it as a dessert. So it can make a lovely banana loaf or a banana dessert for you that's lovely served with custard or ice cream. So I'm going to make the traditional loaf, although those options are all open to us. And I have my tin now ready to go, and I have the oven turned on to 160 degrees centigrade, which is gas mark 4. Mine is a fan oven. If you haven't got a fan oven, then just put your oven up another 10 degrees. That'll make it about 170 to cook it. Now a loaf will take you about 40 minutes maybe to cook. If you're cooking a cupcake or a muffin, that'll maybe take about 20-25 minutes, and it'll just vary. But I'll show you how to know when your cake is ready as we cook it, as we go along. So I'll leave that ready for us, and we'll go over to our mixture. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the caster sugar to my mixing bowl. And I'm going to add in the margarine. And I'm going to put it on to beat and get the mixture lovely and light and fluffy. So this is my trusty mixer. A Kenwood, but you know, you can do this with a wooden spoon if you don't have a mixer, or even just a handheld mixer is great. So I'm just going to let that mix for a few minutes until the butter and the sugar have come together and they're lovely and fluffy. In the meantime, I'll show you that I have mashed the bananas until they're really quite soft, and you don't have too many lumps in it, so that that'll mix through your ingredients nicely when you're making it. So I'm just going to stop that for a little minute. I'm going to scrape down the edges. One problem with the Kenwood is that I find that the mixture doesn't, okay, I've lost my spatula. And you see, whenever they're doing it professionally on television, they probably have a home economist running to them with a spatula. But I'm just going to have to walk over to my mixer, to my drawer and get one. So there we are, got my spatula. So that's easier now. So let's put this back on again. And let's beat it up. Really talk amongst yourselves while this gets a good amount of air into it. So this is going to give you some of the rise to your mixture and make it lovely and moist, and give you a nice texture to your loaf. They're so noisy, aren't they? Anyway, here we are. Still need you're getting a wee picture of my garden. Sometimes I have pigeons come and say hi to me while I'm cooking. I had starlings fighting over. I put some seeds out for them the other day, and they were fighting over it. I had them knocking each other off the hedge, which was highly fascinating and entertaining. It's amazing what entertains you when there's not much going on about the place. Okay, so that mixture is lovely and light. The sugar and the butter are nicely mixed together. And the next thing I'm going to add is the self-raising flour. So normally a Victoria sponge would be equal quantities of butter, sugar and flour, but because I'm adding 2 bananas to the mix, I've added some extra flour just to be able to keep the bananas dispersed through your mixture, to hold them in place. So we add 2 more ounces of flour to our mixture. And then, didn't think this one through, let me see if I can manage this. We add the egg, one-handed. Did I get any shell in there? Oh, I did. See, that's not what you want to be doing. Little trick whenever you put shell into a mixture is take a little bit of shell and go in and fish out the little bit of shell that's there. You see, there's picked it out, and it fishes it out. For some reason, it's far easier than doing it with a spoon. Okay, here we go again. I don't recommend this. I recommend that you split them first. Oh, this is not good. This is not going well. Okay, bear with. I'm going to put this down and put the 3 eggs into the mix. Okay, mission accomplished. Let's have a look. Back to you. Okay, eggs in the mix. So I've just added the flour and the eggs to the mixture of butter and sugar, and I'm just going to add some cinnamon. Now, if you don't have cinnamon, another one which is nice to add is mixed spice, or you don't need anything at all if you don't have any other spices. Maybe a little bit of ginger can be quite nice as well, or I quite like sometimes adding a little bit of lemon zest, or orange zest would be lovely with bananas. But again, it just depends what we've got in our fruit bowl. If you've got something that's going a little bit not too tasty looking, then use it up and add it into the mixture. But I am just going to add a little bit of cinnamon today, and we're going to use the banana. So let's mix this up slowly at first so we don't send the flour flying across the kitchen in a cloud of powder, because although I'm at home all day, I do not wish to be cleaning my kitchen all day. Right, and you can see the mix is coming together nicely. So that's mixed. I'm going to put it up into high speed and let it mix for just about a minute. So as you can see, it's nicely mixed together. But I'm just going to again scrape around the edges just to make sure I'm getting all the contents of my bowl mixed. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get that clever daughter of mine upstairs. I've got my husband working from home in the dining room, and I have my daughter working from home for college upstairs in the loft. So it was really to the kitchen I needed to go and escape, but I might put her to good use in setting up a tripod and a camera, because it's really quite hard to bake with one hand. However, I will not stop. We will get there. So that mixture's looking lovely. And I'm just going to now add in the banana. So we've got 2 squashy bananas that nobody wanted going into the mix. You see it all going in there. There we go. So that's the banana all in. And I'm just going to beat it again for another wee minute just to combine it. And don't beat too hard because you don't want to lose all the air in your mix. So just gently, basically folding it in. You can do that with a spoon, or you can just do it on a slow mix. And just let it continue to mix until you can see the banana has all mixed into the batter. And that's really as much as you need to do. And that's it. So that's our banana batter. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a little minute before I put it into the tin, because I want to make the strudel topping. Now the strudel topping it's like a shortbread mix really. And you make it into a nice crumb so that you can just sprinkle it over the cake. And then it gives you like this lovely crunchy, crusty kind of topping to it. So I've used brown sugar instead of caster sugar for the topping, because it gives it that sort of slightly caramelized flavor, which is just delicious. I love it. Yummy. So I'm just trying to make it into breadcrumbs. So I'm just literally rubbing the butter into the flour and sugar. Again, with one hand. There must be easier ways. I will work it out. I'm a novice. I put my hands up. I'm a novice. I have done lots of cookery demonstrations over the years, but normally I don't have to be holding a camera in my left hand. But it's coming, it's coming. We're getting there. Yeah, looking good. Good. So I probably won't need all of this. So if I've got some left over, pop it into a little bag and freeze it, and that'll make a lovely crumble topping. If we have any other soggy fruit going around, or we've got some frozen fruit in the freezer. I have some raspberries, I think, and that would be delicious, just sprinkled over the top of raspberries, and throw some oats into it. And I might just do that later, actually, because I won't need all of that. But that looks just, and for the strudel, if you make some of them a little bit bigger, so you've got like nice crunchy, you'll get nice crunchy bits on top. So I think that'll do lovely. Right, I'm going to wash my hand. And I really don't think I can do filling the cake tin and so on with one hand. So I'm going to prop you up against my cooker. So unfortunately you might be able to see me, which will be a bit scary. Here we are, let's see if I can turn it around. Maybe not. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to turn me around. So I have no idea what you're seeing. Probably me. Or maybe nothing at all, because I can't get it to stand up. There we are. I have no idea. Hopefully you're seeing something. I'm going to go and get the mix. I'm going to go and get the mix. Okay. I'm going to have that on standby. And I'm going to get the strudel. So you may not see me doing very much. I'm not sure what you're seeing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour the contents of my mixing bowl into the loaf tin. Try not to get the greaseproof paper in the way. It smells absolutely gorgeous. Really lovely. I love the hint of cinnamon that's coming from it. And obviously there's a very strong smell of banana. So I'm not going to fill it right up because I'm going to make a couple of muffins while I'm at it. So let me just show you what I've done. So I've just filled up the... Okay, something interesting has happened. Let's go back a bit. Okay, dear knows what you saw. I'm going to have to check that. Might need to do a little bit of editing. Anyway, I've filled up the loaf tin to 2/3 full. And then I'm going to take my strudel mixture and I'm going to sprinkle it on top of the banana loaf mix. And get some of those nice sort of chunkier bits. And sprinkle them over too. Yummy. And as I say, the rest I'm going to use for a crumble. See if I don't come out the other side. I'm gonna, I wouldn't be the slimmest in the world as it is. Oh dear. And I think I'm going to come out the other side of this, probably worse off. But anyway, there is my loaf. And I'm going to pop it into the oven. Let me see what we've got floating in here. Let's get that out. Pop it into the oven, just into the middle. We'll put a light on, we can see what we're doing in here. Yes, there we are. And that is going to cook for about 35 to 40 minutes. So we'll try 40 minutes. I'll try 40 minutes and see what it's like after that. I'm also going to do just a few wee muffins. So let's have a look. We'll just pop them in, the mixture into the muffin tins. Just going to try a few little muffins, so I'm putting the mixture into some muffin tins. I'll just do 3. That'll give us an idea of what they're going to be like. Okay, and I have some strudel mixture still, obviously, and I'm just going to sprinkle some strudel on the top, like that. So that's there all strudeled up. There we go. Now they'll only need about 20 odd minutes in the oven. Get rid of those. So I will pop them in and have a look at them in about 23 minutes. Let me see, 23 minutes. And I'll come back to you. See.
Well, that's okay then.
Right, let's see. The timer has gone and let's have a look at our little muffins. Ooh, looking good. Looking good. Oh, don't they look just so yummy? They smell amazing. And you can see how the strudel topping has kind of gone crispy on top. So just if you just press and check that they're firm to the touch, and if you're in any doubt, you can use a skewer, which I'll find for the cake, but I can't find it at the minute. But you can tell by the colour of those, they're lovely golden brown, they're well risen, and they smell lovely. Okay, so I'm going to let them cool, and I'll be back to you shortly with the cake and see how the cake's doing. Okay, so the timer has gone off and the loaf, oh goodness me, is ready. So, apart from steaming up my glasses, you can see that it's a lovely golden colour. If you press the top, it bounces back, but if you're in any doubt, just take a skewer and pop it into the thickest part, bring it out, and if there's no mixture on the skewer and no crumb or anything on it, then you know that it's done. So just do it once more in the sort of real centre of it, and there's nothing coming away, is there? Nope. So that is done. I'm looking very tasty, and you can see how the strudel is lovely and golden and crispy on top. So that is your banana loaf. I'm just going to leave it to cool for a good 10 minutes or so before I take it out of the tin, and I'll come back to you and we'll have a look at what it looks like inside and the texture. All right, see you shortly. So as I said, you can use the strudel topping to make a nice crumble topping. So I've literally just added some oatmeal or porridge oats to that mixture that I had left over, and into just a little small dish. I had a couple of plums, some blueberries and some frozen raspberries, so I've just popped them into the dish, sprinkled with a little bit of sugar just to take the tartness off the fruit, and I'm just going to sprinkle the leftover strudel mix over the top. Just cover your fruit, and the juice is a nice bubble up through that. And I don't need that today, so I'm going to just cover it up, label it up, and put it in my freezer, and that'll be a little crumble in another day or two. So there we have it, my first escapade at videoing, so please forgive my jumpiness, my glitchiness, and general lack of ability in videoing. But we have a lovely banana loaf with strudel topping, or a banana muffin, again with strudel topping, and I've just popped it into a bowl with some nice hot custard, and that would make a lovely dessert. So I hope this will be useful for you to use up some of your less than attractive looking bananas, and I'll post the recipes below the video, and keep a little eye out, and hopefully I will come back to you soon. Bye.